Welcome back into Running It Straight. My name is Sam Hewat. No, it's not. That's my best Sam Hewat impersonation. My name is Anthony Gelling. I'm flying the ship today. Captain Jello with my co-pilot, Mr. Willie Poching, alongside me. We've got a little bit to unpack over this hour. It's all smiles. When the Wars win, we're smiling during the week. So we'll go over that Wars game with the Broncos. A little bit of around the league. Check out some of the other games that went on and preview some of the big things coming up, and some signing news out of the Wars too, which we'll get to. But Willie, welcome in, mate.
Skipper, how are you? Thanks for having us. Yeah, awesome to be here, and what a great weekend. And as you said, it's always happy days in the rugby league world when the Wars win. What a win it was, and just the fashion of how they won. It's awesome.
Mate, let's get straight into it and unpack that with our frank assessment. Frank Energy giving it to you straight. Frank assessment of the Wars. I saw you down on the panel, of course. You're on the sideline commentary as well for Sky, mate. What did you make of that game?
I got a little bit concerned, to be honest, when Billy Walters went over early and went over so easy. You still got vivid memories of what was happening in Melbourne, and it just felt like, here we go again. But they showed so much resilience, and they had chance after chance and just couldn't quite convert. And some of that was down to the conditions. They were tough to play, and they were just, it looks like on reflection now, the Warriors were just trying to work out what best plays to put on in that type of weather. And then when they started to change angles, Lecker goes over just before half time. And as I said in commentary, at 6-0, I thought that's a really positive position to be in for the Warriors. With the wind and the conditions behind the Broncos in the first half, 6-0 wasn't too bad, but to go in at 6-all, they were in a real strong position, because that win was worth a couple of points or a couple of tries, as it turned out to be for them.
Yeah, there was a few disallowed tries. It was quite funny. I put my coach's hat on. I was on the sideline comments as well for Sport Nation, and moments before Lecker scored, I said, I think the best play they have would be Lecker back on the inside, because they were trying to hit him with those little short balls. And at the line, in the conditions, I think he put one down, or, the Broncos were just not giving him much space. But when you drop someone under, especially in those conditions, someone like Lecker, you've got that space in that room, and he's got the ability, as you could see in that try, the short feet, the takeoff into space. Like, we've done it so well with AFB, Adam Fanua-Blake coming underneath. Ben Murdoch used to be an absolute killer for it, back underneath and just change his angle, late feet. That Lecker try was special, man. But yeah.
The Broncos they done it a couple of times up the other end. They got Payne Haas on one play, and they actually got Xavier Willison on one of the plays, which got called back for a no try when Pat Carrigan got in the way.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the play. It was the play, and I could just see, like yourself, that if the Warriors implemented something like that, they were going to come. It just catches defenders that are on the slide and their footing is all slippery. You can get them. And that was the case with Lecker, but he's so well balanced. It's so strong. If you're off balance defensively on him, he gets his big fend out and puts you on your backside, or he just uses his pace that he got. And what a great try. In the context of where he's been, he averaged 32 minutes for the game for the Warriors this season, and that was getting close to his 40th. He played the whole half.
Okay, I see what you mean, yeah.
So he was out there, and he was expending a lot of energy. And to come up with that play late in the half was great for him.
Yeah, great for the scoreline too. Did you get the feeling when Lukey missed that kick? So he missed the kick to go 3 scores up. So instead of being 20 points to 6, it's 18-6. Did you have a little feeling saying this isn't over yet?
Yeah, especially when Jesse Arthur scored. Because when Adam Reynolds was lining up his kick, he was right in front of me. And I could just sense he was so relaxed. And I think, he's got this. He's got this. And then it's game on. It's only 6 points behind. The Warriors scored 3 tries, and it seemed like they were so dominant, but yeah, they didn't convert those tries, which only left it at 12 points. So, yeah, you could sense that the Broncos just needed that sense of, if we get one, we'll get them again, which they did. And at 18 all, it was anyone's game. And just became a bit of a shootout for the last 4 minutes, but went to extra time, and Reece Walsh kicks the ball out on the full and say no more.
Yeah. What's the like it goes to show the difference with the goal kickers when you have someone like he's kicking into the wind as well, Adam Reynolds. It's from the sideline. After Lukey's missed 3 of them, he steps up, pings that one, pings another one. Like, how much of a difference does it make when you have a goal kick? Like, we still haven't really got a goal kicker, do we? How do we fix this? Because it cost us games last year. It was lucky not to cost us this week. How do we fix it? Do we keep Lukey there? Do we give it back to Pompey? Do we...
Yeah, well, you got to try and find someone that's consistent, and the best way to do that is practice. You got to keep practicing, and I know they've got Daryl Halligan working in the background with the kickers, so they've got one of the best in the business coaching them. And what he showed with that kick at the end from halfway, yeah, we had a little bit of wind behind him, but he can do it. He can do it. He's just got to get his consistency with his mechanics and how he's kicking the ball and be consistent with that and go through that, his routine every single time. Then he'll find consistency with that ball going through the H's as often as he needs to. And he's got to learn, some of the pressure of some of that, he would have understood. And those ones, it's not the ones on the sideline or the ones in front. It's the ones in between that are the real tough ones.
Right on that scrum line.
Yeah, right on the scrum line. And, they're not throw-overs, but they're not the most difficult either. And you can see a lot of kickers sort of tense up a little bit, but if he can believe that he's got the mechanics to do it from that last kick, then he'll be in a good position as a kicker. But they're not short on kickers. Chanel can kick, Adam Pompey can kick. So there's a couple of blokes within the group that can do it. And, of course, Tanner Boyd, he's thrown them over in New South Wales Cup. So when he gets his time to come on, he can do it too. Yeah,
I think Chanel might have lost his licence after last year's some of those games. Mate, Mitch Barnett can kick. A lot of people forget that before he came over from Newcastle, he'd step up and kick when he had to. Mate, what did you make of Taine's performance at the back there?
Yeah, good. He threatened. He had some opportunistic moments.
Yeah.
A couple of moments where the ball went down. He burnt them and nearly scored in the first half. Just like the sea parted.
Under the post, yeah.
And he nearly got through. Just his acceleration, especially late in halves, it's so scary for a big man through the middle. And when he gets the opportunity to go through, he did it a couple of weeks ago. I think it was against Manly, where he just busted Jazz and Soft Tipley, just because he's so quick, it makes him strong. And that's where he's so dangerous. And if you think that you're just coming up against a smaller athlete, a little man, and you've got to dominate him, he's showing that you're in for another thing to go through. But it was great what he did, a little bit of football to set up the try for Ed Corsi in the second half. Just, again, the ball bounces, it's there, he just towed it through, put it in the corner, they come away with a try. So, yeah, good little bits of skill from Taine. And I think he's a real danger at the back, but he's got to bide his time as a lot of fullbacks do. He's got to be happy with being in the team on the wing. And then when those opportunities come to play fullback, which I think he looks most happy, and he is a better fullback than a winger, but at this moment in time, there's some blokes in front of him.
Yeah, well, I know exactly what you mean with the, speed is power. He brings that to the table for sure. I thought he played really well out the back. It was the kind of conditions where we didn't need a third ball player. We needed someone just to get forward, get down, play the ball. He did exactly that, and, when the opportunities presented themselves. Big news today, 1 p.m. it was announced, Charles Nickel-Klogstad re-signing 2 years.
Awesome. Great news. Great news for the club to retain someone of his quality and how good he's been for the club. Is he the finished article? No, I don't think so, even at the age that he's at. Strange that so many rumours came out about him leaving, and there was talk about him going to the Lee Centurions.
That's right.
And Super League, and just last week they were talking about London, who are in the championship and being taken over by former Leeds chief executive Gary Hetherington. He's running the ship down there now. They were going to make a play at chance, and if that was the case, that would have been really crazy because London aren't guaranteed Super League. But you could see something was strange going on, but I'm just glad it's all settled now.
Yeah.
That he's going to be at the Warriors and he's going to be here and he's going to be the custodian for the foreseeable future.
I think he'll be settled too because, being in that situation when you're uncertain, you don't know where you're going to be next year, especially for the family, the kids, they're waiting to see where they're going to go to school next year and all that stuff. So I think for him to get that boxed off, he'll be really happy with that. I think a lot of fans will be like, some will be happy that he's staying. A lot of people just want the next thing. We want excitement, like sign Ponga, give Taine a go. Give us an 18-year-old. Where's the next Reece Walsh kind of thing? Everybody always wants the next, they want the excitement. So when they hear that he's re-signing, it's like, I don't think a lot of people value experience in the game anymore. You look at that Broncos team, it's full of these young superstars, it's a really exciting team. But the teams that play well are the guys that have the runs on the board, have the miles on the clock, because getting someone like Chance in your team, there's so much experience and it takes time to get that. You can't go get a kid under 20s. Doesn't matter how fast he is, how good he is, how, whatever. He's not going to give you what Chance can give you. This is a guy that's played internationals now. He's been in NRL finals, the run that he had with Canberra, he's been there. He's played in a grand final. Do you feel like sometimes that's undervalued by people?
For sure, and he's become a leader.
Yes.
Because of his time within the group, he's become a leader. And his experience and his voice carries some of that mana that the team needs. What I've learned over time, Jello, is that the teams that generally have success, like your Penrith and your Melbourne, and even in Super League, you look at Wigan, and they won all 4 possible trophies over there last year. It's the teams that have some consistency as far as their roster. So the group stays together. The majority of the group, there's always players that leave, but they're not wholesale changes.
Yeah.
You're able to keep the majority of your squad together for a good while, and there's an investment in the jersey. There's an emotional investment in the club and in the group. And I think that's why it's important to keep your good players, especially if they're having strong influences and they're good leaders. They're not just leaders within the group. They're strong leaders that really enforce the positive culture that your coaching staff and your club are about.
What do you think this means for Chance Taine? What do you think this means for someone like Taine, who, he expressed after the game he really does want to play fullback? He's happy to help out wherever. He says he plays wing because we need a winger right now, but he wants to play fullback. Do you think this could open the gate to other teams saying, right, Taine, you want to come be our fullback?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly, and that's probably a discussion that his agent will have and try and throw his name around. But what I will say to Taine is be patient. Be patient, and, at the moment, you're putting together your best run of first-grade games that you've had as a winger. So your time as a fullback, you prove to the club that you are a first grader and you're an NRL player first and foremost, be that on the wing, then your time will come to own that number 1 jersey. What I would say to him is, for now, focus on being the best winger you can for your team.
Amen.
Be the best winger that you can for the Warriors right now, because you've got to be careful. And I'm going to use this as the example, and what he should look at is... His name escapes me now, who's the winger at St. George last year, gone to play centre for Parramatta.
Oh, Zach Lomax.
Zach Lomax wanted to be a centre, but Flanagan put him on the wing. He became the best winger in the comp. Ended up getting a New South Wales jersey, getting an Australian jersey. Would he have got those as a centre? I don't think so. And you look at him now, his form's dropped again. I know he's injured right now, but he hasn't hit the heights as a centre. And people will say, oh, you hit that drop goal that won him the first game. That's totally different. I think wings his go. And you've got to be careful as a player. There's a lot of players that want to play fullback and earn fullback money.
Yeah.
But you've got to be realistic. And for the moment, Taine's a winger. He's a winger at this moment in time. And when Chance is injured for the foreseeable future, then your opportunity will come. And if it comes to a point where you're just playing too good at fullback, that the coach can't put Chance back in, then that's a winner for you. But for now, just be the best winger you can.
I feel like there's a lot of wingers, and you ask them, they say, yeah, I'm a winger, but I can play fullback. If you want me to play fullback, I'll play fullback.
Yeah.
Same way there's a lot of back rowers that are like, yeah, but I'll play 6.
100%. 100%. That's all of us.
We're all at 6. I think we all start as a 6 or a halfback, and then we just...
I just wanted one kick.
Oh, so good, man. What's your thoughts on the Te Maire Martin, having him on the bench? Is it a bit of a wasted spot, you reckon?
Yeah, well, in a way, he's been great in reserve grade. So does he deserve to be in the squad?
Oh,
yeah.
I think definitely he deserves to be playing first grade. He's
does it hurt
player.
the rotation? I didn't think so. I didn't think it hurt their rotation and what they had on the bench. Bunty is growing every single week.
Yep.
And with the time that he's at, Dimitric's been awesome off the bench. And young Laban has been biding his time, and so the forwards are covered, and I think you need that 14, you need that cover, and Te Maire covers so many things. And there was a moment before the game that I thought he may have started fullback.
Yeah, there was a bit of chat about
put
that.
Taine to the wing,
and
because there was a big question mark about Kurt Capewell starting in the centres, and I thought if they did that, then that would have put Pompey to centre and things would have seemed a little bit more normal, but he fills those and he can cover those. Your concern as a coach is what's your worst case scenario is always when your halves or one of your spine go down. You don't generally you don't lose an outside back. But as a fullback, he can cover all that. So he has some value. Yeah. He has some purpose on the bench.
I think for sure there's a lot of different combinations. When you look at that roster, you could move so many pieces around. I thought with Kurt Capewell being named there at centre and Lecker starting, I thought it was a bit of smoke and mirrors. It might do a little switcheroo because, Lecker could play centre. Kurt Capewell back to back row where he's been playing all the time. Anyway, I was just looking at that Broncos game before we move on. When they're down by 2 tries, 18-6, Broncos are down by 2 tries. How is it that they got level? What were the Warriors like? I noticed Payne Huss came back on the field, so they scored those, took the lead when Payne Huss was off. Payne comes back on. What else happened for the Warriors where they kind of let those 2 tries in?
I think the Broncos just settled into just playing an arm wrestle type game. And
is that a game that doesn't suit the Warriors?
I think it is, but at that moment, in the context of the game and where it was, I don't think there was any complacency from the Warriors. But I think the field position is so important in the game nowadays. The momentum is huge and it swings so easily within a game. And I just think you give Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds field position to play with, they hurt you. They came up with some poor options and executed some plays that they would like to have back. But they also executed a couple of beautiful plays down the short sides to create some of that momentum that I'm talking about and get the Warriors on the back foot. And that Jesse Arthur's try was the catalyst for them to get the next one. It just gave them that sense of belief that they could crawl themselves back in the game. And I don't think the Warriors did anything particularly bad. I just think the Broncos stepped up in that moment.
Mate, I saw something quite funny during the week. So, random stats guy, God bless him, he's done a table, and this table is if last try wins was the rules. Okay, so if it was last try wins, the Eels would be top of the table, the Warriors would be second, then the Panthers, the Rabbitohs, the Knights, the Bulldogs, Cowboys, Raiders, all the way down to the Storm and the Sharks, bottom of the table. So just goes to show, if it was last try wins, hypothetically, just looking at the Temper Bedpost text machine, keep your texts coming in on 8833. Boys, Jet looking so good in the flag, long-term option at 7, ?
Yeah, possible. He was good. He was very good. And there's so much pressure on the young fella because of his name, because of his brother, because of his dad. And I think it's such a mature thing for him to get out of Sydney and move away from Australia and come here and be on his own and be willing to live away from his family to try and grow his game. And he was fantastic. His running of the ball was threatening to the St. George Dragons, who they played last week. But his kicking game, his direction, he does have some qualities that, and when he runs, he does look like his brother. But I want to get away from putting that pressure on him. And if he just keeps applying himself in the right way, then his opportunities may come. You can't say they will come. All he has is potential at the moment, but he's got to really take what the coaching staff are offering him and be as good as he can in the Jersey flag until his time comes to go play New South Wales Cup and then go through the ranks. We can't put pressure on him and say he's going to be the next halfback at the moment. He's still young.
Yeah.
He's still finding his feet.
Yeah, I feel like those conversations, especially with that name, it's always going to happen. We're going to head to a little break. When we come back, we got former Kiwi and Cook Islands legend Zeb Taia on the phone, former Newcastle Knights too, as we build up towards the Warriors Wars on Anzac Friday, and we'll have a look across the league and preview some of the other games coming up after this break. Welcome back to Running It Straight. Captain Jello here with my co-pilot, Mr. Willie Poching, as we go through some rugby league stuff. We have our good mate Zeb Taia waiting in the wings. Zebby, are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here, mate.
There he is.
Yes. Boys.
Brother, I've been waiting to get you on the show since we sparked it up last year. But mate, awesome to have you on. We're building up towards, of course, the Warriors taking on Newcastle this weekend, mate. Your name's synonymous with the Newcastle jersey, as long as your career was. I think if a lot of people close their eyes and imagine you, they'll picture you in the blue and red of Newcastle. Mate, how did you? Where are you from? How did you end up playing for Newcastle?
Oh man, long story there. No, I just obviously started my career down at Parramatta, but then obviously Brian Smith was the coach at the time, and he got me my start there, and then he ended up shifting up to Newcastle. And I think I needed at the time I was stuck behind some greats at Parramatta, guys like Nathan Highmarsh and Daniel Wagon, all them boys, man, and it was just too hard to crack there. So I thought I need a fresh start, so I ended up moving up the M1 up to Newcastle and having a crack there, and then sort of made a name for myself there. It was good times there, though.
Mate, so you started way back then when Hindmarsh and stuff was still at Para, and you only retired, a couple of years ago. How long was your career all up?
I played it for about 14 years. So in the NRL, I would have got probably about seven seasons, I'd say, and then in the Super League, probably another 7 as well. So did a stint in both Super League and the NRL. So yeah, very grateful for my time in rugby league, but that feels like it's a long time ago now.
Well, mate, you talk about the crossover to Super League. Willie's just reminded me actually, because I forgot, before you were at Saints, you had a little rendezvous at Catalan.
Yeah, that was good, man. That was good. It was good fun. So from Newcastle, headed over to Catalans, and man, I loved every minute of that place too. So could only see myself just playing 3 years there. And when you have a plan of attack, my plan of attack was to come back to the Gold Coast, and see out my contract here and just retire and probably head back to Newey. But that didn't really eventuate. I ended up back in the Super League and played another 4 seasons for Saints. So it's crazy. I was just one of those dudes that just took it as it went, my career, and just very grateful. And it turned out to be a really good decision for me going to Saints. So met some really good people. Won a couple of trophies there, so grateful for that.
Hey Zebba, Willie Poching, bro.
How you been, bros?
Yeah, good man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just it's funny you say that. I'm just in a warehouse in Burleigh, just in the gym here. So I just went and got some. All the boys have been trying to get free drinks off me when they come to the gym, and got the body science on board. So they'll be stoked to see that I'm restocking the fridge now. So yeah, just restocking this fridge.
You talk about your time in Super League. What was a big thing that made you change and stay longer over there in the north of England?
Oh, bro, to be honest, I felt like I enjoyed my time playing in the Super League, and it does help when you're part of a really good team that's got some really good players in there. It's just really good culture to the point where, we really wanted to have a crack at trying to win, trophies there. So, and we all just bought into when Justin Holbrook was there, and then obviously Christian Wolf when he came over to take over. We just, a lot of the boys there just kept on buying into, what we wanted to do. So, and for me being one of those older players and one of those experienced players, it was good to help out the young kids that were coming through. Guys like your Matty Lees and your Morgan Knowles and Regan Grace as well. Like they've gone on to be world-class players now. So that's crazy. So it was good, man. It was a good time there, man. But had our battles with Wigan there a couple of times with Gills.
Yeah, mate. Never dropped an Easter Friday game when I was there. But tell you a funny story. When I finished up at Widnes, I had a leaving party at the house. This was during COVID. You're not allowed any public gatherings. Yeah. But me and my mate Graf, we'd been there for 10 years. So we thought, man, we can't leave without a party. So we threw this big house party. And it was quite funny because I had on Facebook Marketplace, I was selling all my stuff. So people are showing up to my house for Facebook Marketplace with gloves and, masks and social distance. And they're walking into this big house party to get all the stuff out. And anyway, late in the evening, here come all the Saints boys. They've just won the grand final 2 days before. Come through the house. None of them have been asleep, still going on their last legs. I think that might have been the last stop for a few of you guys. But I think that was maybe just won your third in a row, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think it was the one and you, there was a try in the very last second. Bevan French, Jimmy Graham's last game.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Wellesby.
Yeah. Jack Wellesby try, yes.
Yeah, the Jack Wellesby
The drop
try,
goal.
man.
Yeah, what a moment,
The drop
man.
goal, like when we thought.
Bevan French, what were you doing?
If anyone hasn't seen that, go watch it on YouTube. What year was that, Zebby?
That was 2020.
2000.
That was the COVID grand final.
COVID grand final, 2020 COVID grand final. Go watch the end of that on YouTube. While you're there, check out that Easy podcast, Zebby and our mate Eddie.
It's funny when you say that, you bring up that game. I was there, when Zach Hardacre was kicking that penalty goal, and I was just kicking the ground, just thinking, wow, I'm gonna lose this grand final because of this shit penalty. Right, I honestly, literally just gave up then, and then goes and there would have been 2 minutes to go, and they were in front.
Penalty hit the post.
The way it finished. Yeah, Tommy Mack tried to do a mad 2-point field goal to get us 2 points to just draw the game, but it ended up Jack Wellesby was the only one chasing, and he got the lucky bounce and he scored it, and we ended up winning.
I've never seen the ending to a game as crazy as that, mate. What are you looking ahead to this Newcastle game? What do you make of the Knights this year?
Oh, man.
Be honest. Come on, man. You don't play anymore.
We spoke on the phone earlier about this, man. And, the two previous teams that I played for, Titans and the Knights, where, obviously with Eddie, doing that podcast, we always go to the Titans game because he's linked up there a little bit. And we get to watch it out of a fancy box there. So every time we get to watch the Titans, it's bro, it's sometimes it gets miserable. But then you think about when you watch the Knights play, I'm just going, oh my gosh, So at the moment, I just feel that they, I don't know if they're just really gelling out as a team. There's too many chop and changes in that side at the moment. I just feel like they need to just stick with the one half and go with that person, try and build a combination to get it right to finish out the season before old mate from Paris gets there.
I feel like there's too many skinny guys with mullets. I feel like every player they bring through, it's a white skinny dude with a mullet, and you think there's a factory in Newcastle somewhere just pumping these guys out.
Mate, it's part of their culture there, man. It's the steelworks and everything, mate. They got
surfies.
The
surfies, mate.
The surfies, the steelworks and all that, man. It's just there, man.
I get the sense, Zeb, that they're not sure what sort of team they want to be. They don't know their identity.
Bang on.
Yeah. Well, man, I remember watching them a couple of weeks back against the Titans, and I thought, damn, they just weren't on at all during that game, and I just feel like they still haven't figured it out since then. So, I just feel like they rely too much on their big guns. Obviously Callum Ponga there at the back there, but I feel like there needs to be, other people taking more control and freeing it up for him at the back there. Obviously they've got a good forward pack, but a lot of errors in their game as well. So I just don't know. I just feel like the Warriors are starting to hit form again, and they're always competing hard. And they've got a good forward pack there. That got some really good young kids that are coming off the bench in that Warriors team. I just feel like I'd love to see my Knights get up. I've never had a good trip to New Zealand. I think my last game in New Zealand, I won.
Oh, wow.
And but that would have been out of maybe about 6 times trying to go back there and win a game. So it's a tough ask to go to Mount Smart and get a victory. That's for sure.
Well, this one's down in Christchurch. It's even tougher. It's cold down there too.
But even I don't know, brother. Just they're a hit and miss for me, the Knights at the moment. But I'm still always going to jump on and be a part of that. Like, you know, it's had some good memories there, good times out there at Knights. But yeah, gotta stay strong, man. Once a night, always a night.
That's the one, man. We got a little up the wires thing. It's coming back. We're sitting in the top 4, mate. If the Warriors beat Newcastle this weekend, be happy to just jump across, mate. Jump ship. You know, a lot better than watching the Knights and the Titans, man.
Hey, I've always, as a young kid, I've always been a discreet, you know, Warriors fan. You know, like,
where were you born, Zebby?
You know, I was born in Australia.
Okay.
born in Sydney, but you know, obviously the parents are Cook Island heritage, but mum and dad were brought up in New Zealand in Mangere, bro, and Otara.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you need to get back in touch with your roots, mate.
Yeah. Hey, man, I've got a soft spot for the Warriors too, man. Don't worry.
A lot of people do, man. Zebby, it's been awesome to have you on, man. Always appreciate your time.
Me,
I know you're a busy man, but good luck with the gym. How's the body looking, bro? You must be ripped up now.
Oh, man.
Are you in better shape than when you were playing? Because a lot of guys say this, when they retire, they're in better shape.
Yeah, to be honest, like, I feel like I've got the mindset. I feel like I've got the mindset to just go out and train every single day and love every minute of it. I wish I had that when I was playing though.
Good times.
You know, those ones where you complain about like your conditioning sessions and all that. Yeah, that was me back in the day. But now, like, you know, you see a wad on a board, I'm just going, yeah, bro, let's get it. Let's go.
Well, you're not having to run into brick walls anymore, mate. That's the difference.
And it's a bit easier to train 100%. When it's 25 degrees rather than -5.
Amen.
Is it cold over there?
Nah, that's all right. We
talking
can't
about
complain,
when you're up at St. Helens.
Yeah, true. Yeah, oh, mate. Tell me about it. Me and Eddie always say it on our podcast. We do not miss the pre-season in England.
100%.
That was terrible, man. I remember just having the skins and like even like a couple of times running out with gloves on, and like the coach used to go, mate, come on, you're not serious. You're from Australia. Just take them gloves off, please.
CB, I'm gonna write a book one day about all these pre-season stories. I'm sure you're gonna have some to chuck in there, mate. But for now, we'll let you go. We've got to get to a break. Zeb Taia, thanks for joining us, mate. Go well.
Take care, bro.
No, cheers, bro. Cheers.
Welcome back to Running It Straight. Anthony Gulling and Willie Poching here with you up until 3 o'clock. We're going to go a little bit of Unluggy Uces as we do every week. My one this week, it was Reece Walsh, obviously kicking that ball dead. Not an ideal way to start Golden Point. And Luke Metcalf, of course, returning serve, game over straight away. He's also injured himself. 29. He's injured himself, done a PCL. Very similar to those that don't know what a PCL injury is.
Well, that's what I don't get, Jello, is the guys were talking about it in commentary early in the game.
Yeah. That
he didn't look right and he was limping around and he was carrying something. So
the last few weeks he hasn't looked right.
If that's the case, how come he took that last kick?
Or the PCL is quite a funny injury. So a PCL injury, Nathan Cleary done one in the 2019, I think it was, semi-final.
Yeah.
And then he played the grand final. So
and you can play without one.
You can play without one. Sam Tompkins, when he came from Wigan to the Warriors, done his PCL. That really bothered him, but he just played through it. So you have the option. You can take the time out and, do the surgery, which I think was what Reece is going to do now, and hopefully time it to get back into Origin. But the other unlucky Uce was the Tigers losing to the Eels. And I say unlucky because with, I think, 10, 12 minutes to play, they're only down by 6 points. If Galvin was playing, this whole debacle that's blown up, if Galvin was playing, do the Tigers win that game? And it's a game they should have won. Eels are, they're struggling this season. They're still fighting their way back. Tigers should have iced that one. If he's playing, do you think the Tigers win?
It's hard to say would they have won, but I think they would definitely have been better. It makes them a better side. So to say, would he have had an influence? They very well could have. He could have got him home, and in that last period when Para came home strong on the back of Mitchell Moses directing the show.
Yep.
I think he could have had an influence on the Tigers reversing that. He makes the team a lot better. They're a better team with him in there. And this is why I couldn't understand all the hoopla about, no, we don't want him in the side.
Yeah, well, this is what I've been trying to ask you because, the last 2 weeks, I think we had you on 3 weeks ago, it's been big news. It's dominated the headlines since then. I've wanted to ask you, what's your thoughts on the whole thing?
Well, the kid's got a prerogative to not accept a contract. Yeah, the Tigers may have rolled out the red carpet for him, but it's his choice, and it's happened before. Blaze Talangi, who's come out this week and sympathised with Lockie Galvin, an ex-schoolmate of his, but in also a very similar situation to what he went through at Parramatta. He signed for Penrith halfway through the season, turned down a contract at Para in order to go, but there was nothing said about it. That at that time it was, okay, this is what happens. It's just the mess that the Tigers are in and have been in for a long time. They've got to try and retain some of that good talent. And, I've not seen anything yet myself, and he may very well have said something, but I've not seen anything from him where he's said anything derogatory about the team, the club, or Benji. He may just want to go to play under a different coach. But again, that's your prerogative as a player. That you can do that. Is there an issue with his manager? Possibly. A few clubs may have an issue with that manager and how he's handling it. So, but that's not the kid's fault. That's not, as a 19-year-old, that's not his fault. No. Yeah, I feel sorry for the kid somewhat. Yeah. Through all of this.
Well, it's such a long time. Like, if you're the age he is, like, who wants to lock in a future that certain for that amount of time? Like, that's a big chunk of your career. It would be like, young Jacob here in the producer box. If I said to young Jacob, mate, we love having you here at Sport Nation. How would you like to sign on for the next 20 years? And you say, well...
How much money?
Well, you say, well, 20
That's
years
exactly
is a
what you
long
say.
time. You'd say 20 years is a long time. Maybe I want to do something else. What do you mean you want to do something else? You're not grateful at what we do here at Sport Nation? You say, oh, maybe I got ambitions of going on ESPN. ESPN, mate! How dare you? Like, it's the same kind of thing, It's been blown out of proportion completely. And, I think it's too harsh that somebody that young is being asked to make a decision of that amount of time in their future.
And I agree with it being an unlucky use, because now when the players, his teammates, hammered him last week, are they going to accept him back in? Is he going to want to be back in that dressing room? He's been named in the side this week. That's got to be uncomfortable in that dressing room.
I do feel like the media is kind of hyping it up. I don't think it's never as bad as what it is on the inside. The fact that Benji's given him a week off to chill, brought him straight back in, I think that says a lot there. Just one thing before we get off to a break. Zero Tackle, they've published this little article of 5 players who could miss out from Origin 2025. I'll go through the list quickly for you. Number 1, Jake Trbojevic. Number 2, Kurt Capewell. Number 3, Reece Walsh. 4, Mitch Moses. 5, Bradman Best. So when I look at that list, I go, yeah, whatever. But when you actually look at the names, a lot of them were filling in for guys that were injured. So I look at Mitch Moses, for example. Cleary Luai, would that be your pick for New South Wales, for example?
I'm a Queenslander, so I don't care what the Blues do.
You don't care who's there.
But yeah, you'd think so. You'd think that's a combination that's got success written all over it.
Yeah.
But it depends. It's an interesting one because Laurie Daly's in now. It's his team. He can put his footprint all over it. And Billy Slater's obviously got to make some changes in order to try and get the series and the trophy back.
Well, who do you pick then? So Reece Walsh, there's a chance he could miss through injury, his form. You reckon Ponga straight in?
Yep.
That's a no-brainer, isn't it? Kurt Capewell, the other Queenslander on the list. The reason being his age and, the fact for feeder, Hopgood, Firma, there's some great back rows there.
Yeah, Firma and Hopgood. I love those two.
Running it straight. Thank you for having us today. This is 1 minute. We're going to sprint to the end here. Text here from Pete, who asked, has there ever been a Golden Point extra time game without a hit-up? Interesting, very, very interesting. A few games to look at over the weekend. Roosters, Dragons, always a big one. Broncos, Bulldogs. 30 seconds. Willie Poching, give me a 30-second preview. Warriors, Knights.
Yeah, Warriors on fire. Knights inconsistent. I see the Warriors winning that one down in Christchurch. Packed house.
You know, they dropped the game to Titans in very similar circumstances last year, Anzac Day.
Yeah, I just think they've found some belief. They've learnt their lessons from the Storm. They'll be right.
Beautiful stuff, mate. Always a pleasure having you in the studio. And go well this weekend. I'll see you down in Christchurch, mate.
See you there, bro. Thanks
Up the
for having
wires.
us.